Welcome to Arts Avenue. It's the place where we talk about the arts in and around South Orange and Maplewood. Today, I'm really excited because I have someone here from Luna Stage by the name of Caitlin Stillwell. She is the resident dramaturg at Luna Stage. And I'm excited because I've done some work at Luna Stage myself and volunteered many times. And so I'm just really happy to talk about the great things that are going on there. So welcome, Caitlin.
Oh, thank you, Lauren. I'm so happy to be here.
So I just want to jump right in because there are so many exciting things happening at Luna Stage, from jazz to comedy to classes for adults and kids. So what's not happening at Luna, right?
That is the question to ask.
So I wondered if you could give us a quick and dirty of what's going on at Luna right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll see if I can remember all the pieces. So do we think our audiences know where Luna Stage is? Should I start there?
Well, that would be a great starting place.
Awesome. Okay, so Luna Stage is in West Orange on Valley Road. It's part of the Valley Arts District. We're a small 99-seat theater. And one of the great things about our space is that we're a black box theater, which for audiences who might not know means that every time you come into the space, the seating configuration can shift. So for example, in this season, thus far, we have had 3 completely different setups in our main stage. So you walk into the space, you have no idea what you're going to see.
I love that because every time I've been there, it's so exciting to see the way the stage is set up. It's just so creative. I mean, the different sets that I've seen there are amazing.
We are so lucky. We get extraordinary artists, designers in our space. And I think that people are excited to have the ability to play like that, to be able to have the opportunity to say, well, how should the room feel for this piece? You know, how should we configure it? Is the audience all around it? Are they on 2 sides? Are they on 3 sides? Are we kind of just looking at them as if they're in a picture frame? Like, what does it feel like?
So it's all totally organic from the creative process, exactly how you configure the space. Wow. And each time you do that. So can you tell me a little bit about what goes into the sets?
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you some. Not being a designer myself, I can't detail the specifics of the process, but I can tell you a little bit about what it looks like from Luna's end. So once we know that we're going to program a piece of theater or commission a new play, I think usually it's the director that kind of comes on first, whether it's someone we know, whether it's someone the playwright knows. The conversation is had about kind of what their vision is for the production, and then around that we assemble a design team. And again, those might be people that Luna has worked with before, or the playwright has worked with, or the director has worked with, and we have a series of meetings called production meetings. I think we usually have 3 over the course of maybe 1 or 2 months before we start rehearsals. And everybody comes in with their ideas, having, sat with the script and maybe had initial conversations with the director, bring in their ideas of what the space looks like, feels like, what the lighting is like, what it sounds like. And we start to kind of bandy those ideas around, and the designers get to see, okay, well, that's so interesting. I'm thinking of the physical space of the set in this way, and I love what you're saying about the lighting and how that might interact with this world, or the sound that the sound design that you're talking about. So it becomes this really interesting process where, as we're all kind of learning about what each other's interests are in the piece and what the production is going to shape into, we can kind of keep developing, honing, and then go away, come back, new ideas, more realized ideas, can shift things. This is what we're feeling now. So it's an exciting process.
It all sounds very, very fluid and just organic, as I said. So I know right now, or coming up very soon, you have The Brothers Size.
Yes.
Right? So,
yes.
And then there's 4 main stage productions.
Totally skirted your initial question. I went off on that tangent.
No.
Yes, on our main stage, we do 4 shows a year. We're in our 3rd show of the season right now, The Brothers Size by Terrell Alvin McCraney. And we actually opened last Friday night. So we've had great crowds so far. We run until March 6th.
Okay.
This is one of our longer runs in this slot, and we're really hoping to get the community to see this play. I think it's a really a really important piece of theater. It originally premiered in 2007 at the Public Theater in New York.
Oh,
and at the time, the playwright was only 27 and really took New York by storm, really took the kind of theater critical mind and his audiences by storm with this idea of being a new voice, a fresh voice. The way that he tells stories is something that we hadn't really seen before in the theater, and I think still is really fresh and new. This particular play is about two brothers, the brothers, Size. Size is their last name.
Right.
The younger brother of whom is coming out of prison and is kind of finding his way back into the family unit and establishing this relationship again with his brother and finding his way in the world. And as I think we all know, relationships with siblings can be quite complicated.
To say the least.
Yes, right. So into the middle of that, insert another young man who's just come out of prison, who was a dear friend of Ochusi's, the younger brother, inside prison, and who also grew up in their community. So add him into the mix, and you can imagine that things get complicated and interesting.
Yeah, and just on that issue, a lot of times we see people getting re-incarcerated because of the difficulty of getting back into society and being able to function in society. So I think that's a really important issue that's being raised in the theater. And isn't that part of Luna's mission, too?
Yeah, we like to say that we always want to choose plays that start important conversations. That we're not always producing the pieces that are going to be a surefire commercial hit, right? They're not always easy. We like to challenge our audiences, and we like to use theater as a forum to spark those conversations that I think are important and are part of being a community, right? Having a forum in which to think about and have emotions about and talk through and think through with our neighbors, with the people around us, these issues of what it means to be alive today and what's going on in our society. And I think The Brothers' Size in that way is very much a Luna play. And something we've had a chance to really dig into kind of through the cast. Just really thinking about mass incarceration in prison and reading a lot around it, and I think opening our own eyes. And I hope that this play, in some ways, is very much a play about family, and in other ways, it really is a jumping off point to these conversations about what is the state of incarceration in this country. Right.
And then I know that you also do a lot in terms of audience engagement. So what are the ways, especially around a play like this, which is typical Luna, how are you going to engage audiences around it? I know you do talkbacks, for example, with the audiences, but there's a lot of other ways that you engage the community, not just around this play specifically, but in so many ways. There's playwriting, there's classes for adults and kids. So can you talk a little bit about how Luna engages the community that it's in?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for asking that question. I think it's a really important It's very important to us that community is at the center of what we do. So yes, around our main stage productions, we have events like talkbacks, where audiences who have come to see the show, either on that performance or other performances, can come and sit and listen to the artists talk about the piece. Often the actors, sometimes the director, sometimes we get guest speakers in to talk about some of the issues that are brought up in the play. We also have something new this season at Luna called the Context Room, which is a classroom space right next to the theater. So if you're in the theater lobby, the doors are side by side, and we open it an hour before the show and keep it open for half an hour afterwards. And it's a space, it's an interactive space in which our audiences can learn more about the production, learn more about what the playwright's influences might have been, or what our design process was like, what inspired our designers to create what they see on that stage, or to start that conversation about what impact we think that play has in the world today, and to get our audiences also talking to each other, interacting in the space, sharing an opinion or contributing to something. We also do a pre-show talk in the context room, 45 minutes before each show. So we're engaging around our main stage in that way, but we also have a lot of other ways for the community to get involved with Luna. As you mentioned, one of those ways is called the Lab at Luna. And I didn't mention it before, but we have a second space, a smaller black box theater that we don't use for our main stage, but we do keep open as a space where artists in our community, in our artistic community as well as our proximity, as well as our physical community, have a space to try things, to take that next step in their careers, to identify for themselves what it is that would make the difference in terms of their growth as an artist, and to have a low risk, low cost place to do that exploring. And so that's been really successful for some directors that we've known, actors who've put on pieces, playwrights who are workshopping. It can be anything from a reading to a fully staged production. It really varies.
Wow.
So, and it's another interesting way, I think, for our audiences to get to know work in progress.
Yes.
Because we do so much new work. So it's not just about
right.
Coming to see something that
the
is
end result, the
done.
show.
Yeah. But really bringing audiences in on this idea of what does it take to make a piece of theater? How many drafts do you go through?
So all those messy drafts
Yes,
that we got in school, that we saw with all the red marks over it. That's what you like to expose at Luna, and that's why I just admire and respect the work that goes on there, because it's all about the creative process.
I think it's so important, right? Because when we see things that are finished, I don't know about everyone else, I think people are like me, but I have a tendency to think, like, wow, someone was really brilliant and they did that thing and it was perfect and I could never do anything like that. I could never have that voice or get to that point. But when you can take away the kind of the perfection of the other,
right,
and say, like, hey, it didn't start that way, right? That there was an idea and there was a process and there were collaborators and there were drafts and there were moments where you go, well, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
You know, it's a journey.
Right. It's a journey.
Yeah. And so to empower people in that way too, to kind of recognize the artist within themselves. So, and I think that ties into our classes in some ways as well too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we run theater classes for children ages 4 to 13, I think, is the upper end, on Saturday mornings. All sorts of creative dramatics, through to kind of more preparing specific work with the older children. We also have adult acting classes. You don't have to have experience to join them if that's your dream to act. This is your moment. We have a wonderful teacher, Ned Coulter, who works with our actors. And we also have playwriting. For our adult playwrights in the community, people who have maybe always had that dream of telling a story through theatrical means, but never had the opportunity. So we run a class called Civic Playwriting. Some people have experience, other people have no experience, but it's a chance for the idea of civic playwriting specifically was important to us at Luna, because it was the chance for us to ask people in our community to look at their communities and say, what's out there that needs to be talked about? What's going on in the lives of your community that you can shed light on, that you can explore through theatrical means? And they write 10-minute plays, and then they get to invite their community to come see that work. And it's really powerful to see that process, that idea of it all coming together. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
So we just have to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back.
So you're looking online now? Yeah, great condition. I hate to see her go, but I really just need the cash. Well, the price is still just $1,000, but you have to send the money now, right now. Well, that's why the price is so low. Like I said, I need cash fast. I can't wait on a check or money order. You have to send cash now.
The moment they ask for immediate cash is the moment you know something's wrong. Think before you send money. Learn more at scamawareness.org.
Okay, so we're back. This is Arts Avenue, and thank you so much for joining us. Today I have Caitlin Stillwell with me, and she is my guest. She is the resident dramaturg with Luna Stage, and we're talking about all of the ways that the community can become involved at Luna Stage. So before the break, you started to give some examples of how a prospective or aspiring playwright, for example, could walk in the door and decide they're going to get involved. They're actually going to write a play, which is a huge deal if you've never, ever done that before. And you actually teach the civic playwriting class. So can you tell us about some of the other ways that people can get involved if they're interested?
Absolutely. Civic playwriting is a great first step if you're new to playwriting. However, some people already have that play burning within them, or maybe they even have it on the page, right? So another way that playwrights can get involved at Luna Stage is through one of our other adult classes called Play Gym, which you know well as an actor in the Play Gym.
That's a great opportunity too, because in that environment you walk in and you're actually able to read a script with fellow actors, and in that moment you're able to give the playwright some great feedback on their piece, and they desperately need to hear their plays read. So
Absolutely.
It's really a win-win.
Absolutely. I mean, that was the hope, right? That we were hearing from playwrights who had come out of civic playwriting, who had a couple plays they were working on, what a benefit it was to work with such talented actors, because at the end of civic we get actors in to read the work. He said, what if we could do that for playwrights who are already in development on pieces? Exactly as you said. So to be able to bring in whatever they're working on that week, hear actors read it, get feedback in the moment, and be able to grow and change from there. So that's one way for playwrights to get involved, and also for actors who are in our community to get involved if this is something they're interested in. There are a bunch of other ways too, though. You can submit a script to Luna Stage. You could become a reader for Luna Stage. We have a group of readers who evaluate all the submissions that we get, who help to kind of report on them and share them, kind of pass them up to our artistic director, who then can read them all and respond to them. We have 2 play festivals, both coming up in the spring. The first is not one we produce, but happens at Luna. It's called the 1 Minute Play Festival.
1 minute.
I know.
A 1 minute play.
I have not seen a 1 minute play yet,
Wow.
but I'm really intrigued by this idea of how do you tell a story in 1 minute? And it's coming up in March.
I mean, because I've heard of 10 minutes, but 1 minute?
Yes, exactly.
That's
I'm really interested.
A lot could happen in a minute. A lot could happen in a minute, I guess, right?
I'm assuming.
Wow.
So I really
But that's
encourage
exciting.
people to come out and see what that
sure.
is, so that they can submit to that in the future. But we also currently, we're accepting submissions for our short play festival, which happens in May. And we have 2 categories, for playwrights who've already been professionally produced, and for those who've never had a professional production.
Okay.
So we judge them separately.
Oh, right.
Which is nice, because
Yes,
that way you're not necessarily being judged against someone who's had their off-Broadway premiere and their
Right,
4
right.
original productions.
Right.
But that's
Kind of levels the playing field a little bit. So you
exactly.
don't have to feel intimidated if you've never done this before.
Exactly. If you have a script that's up to 10 minutes in length, or a monologue, I believe, up to 5 minutes in length, then submit it to us. We're actually still accepting submissions for the festival currently. There are other ways to get involved at Luna, too.
Ushering. I ushered a few shows there, and that's a great opportunity also, because after you're done with your job ushering, you can sit down and enjoy some great theater.
Yes. It's such a great way to see
Which
something
is nice.
for free.
Yeah.
And to also know that you're giving something to the theater that's necessary.
Right.
We need ushers.
Right.
You want to see a show.
Right.
It's a win-win.
It's a win-win.
Right?
Yeah, and if you go to Luna, you can make it a night of it, right? So there's lots of restaurants in the area where you can have a good meal and then go see theater, and then there's that bakery next door.
Oh my gosh.
And I can smell
Pink's
those cupcakes.
The moment. So I always kind of knew in my heart that I wanted to work at Luna Stage, but I knew of it from afar, right? I knew its reputation. I knew kind of what it was producing. But when I first walked into Luna Stage and saw that they had a cupcake shop with a door directly into the lobby of the theater, I was sold.
You were in heaven. You were in heaven.
It's like, this is the place to be. No little concession stand for us. No
Right.
cupcakes here.
Fresh
Yes,
cupcakes.
they do extraordinary cupcakes at Pink's. We're so lucky to have them as our neighbor. But you're right, there are great restaurants in the area. I have to make the disclaimer that as a vegan, I have not tried most of them,
Okay.
but I hear great things. And one of the nice things as well is that as a season subscriber, if you sign up to be a subscriber for our whole season, you get, I think it's called a season pass card with discounts to a lot of the restaurants in
nice.
the area.
That is a very nice perk.
Yeah, so some of the
Yeah.
restaurants that you might go to, there's a wonderful Peruvian place just across the street. I think it's called El Palazzo de Pollo?
Okay, all right, sounds right to
Pardon
me.
my Spanish.
And then, of course, there's Hat City Kitchen.
Hat City Kitchen down the
Yeah.
street, a landmark, wonderful food and great entertainment there as well.
Right, live entertainment. I've taken that place in before I've gone to a show at Luna. Very nice.
There's an Italian place called Libretti's down the street that's also quite lovely. Mexican down the street at Don Juan's. So many great places in the area. And, you know, I don't know how much people are familiar with the area. I wasn't before I kind of came to Luna Stage, and I think it's easy to kind of think like, oh, well, what will I do? What will I do when I go to Luna Stage? But you're right, there's actually so much around the theater and so much thought being put into making it a thriving area and a thriving district.
Right.
So it's really nice to be able to support, I think, local businesses in that way. Kind of spend a whole community night, eat the food, see the theater.
So let me ask you, you are a dramaturg. So can you tell me a little bit about what a dramaturg does?
Yes. I should say that anytime you ask a dramaturg what a dramaturg does, they'll give you a different answer. Partially because it can be so many things. And as a profession, people come to it from so many different backgrounds. For myself, I have an undergraduate degree in musical theater. I was a performer first. That was my entryway into the theater. And I performed for a couple years, and I knew that there was something else for me. I also knew I wasn't being the best of actors in the sense that in my spare time, I wasn't taking those dance classes, I wasn't signing up for the voice lessons. I was buying antiquarian dictionaries and every play I had never read. When I was thinking about that next step, I went to a theater artist and actor who had been in the business for decades and was just kind of talking it through with her. And she asked what I was interested in, and I told her, I'm interested in plays, I'm interested in the way plays work, I'm interested in kind of research. And she said, have you thought of being a dramaturg? And I had no idea what that word meant, like most people.
Right.
So a dramaturg can be many things. It can be, if you're working on a new play, it can be someone who helps the playwright develop the script, who's able to kind of work with them, ask them questions to determine what they feel like the heart of the play is for them, and then help reflect back to them what you're seeing in the play as they go through each draft. Help them understand what's on the page and maybe what still lives in their head, and help them realize their own best version of the piece they want to write. For a piece that's already kind of finished, it can mean conducting research around the production, either to share with the cast, which is something that I do at Luna, or to share with the audiences, like we do in the context room, to provide more information about the world of the play or the influences around it. It can also mean this idea of engagement, of being that public face and kind of having the talkbacks or the pre-show, or thinking about how we engage the community in partnerships or around the productions. And sometimes it means being the person who's like writing the articles or kind of doing the crunching of facts, or kind of compiling the research for a playwright as they're developing something.
Right.
So it can be many things.
But that means that there's so many ways that you can be impactful.
Yeah.
Which is wonderful.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
And because the essence of being a dramaturg, I think, is really about listening and asking questions. It's a skill set that you can apply to many parts of your life.
Yes.
So it's a really nice thing to be working on.
Yes.
Because I feel like it hopefully makes you just a better
There's a lot
person.
of carryover into your personal life. You said it makes you a better person. Even though people don't know what that word means, but it makes you a better person. That's great. I know that one of the plays coming out this season is Old Love, New Love.
Yes.
So can you tell us about that? Because you've got a whole campaign around that play.
We do, yes. So Old Love, New Love is a play we've loved for about 3 years now. It's a piece about a family caring for a loved one with Alzheimer's disease. And we read it in our Monday night reading series, which is another way you can come get involved at Luna. Every first Monday of the month we do a reading. But we read it in our reading series 3 years ago. We loved the piece, loved it. Felt like it was telling such an important story about what it means today. I mean, so many people are affected by this disease. And we felt like this playwright, Laura Brienza, was telling this story in such a beautiful and heartfelt and life-affirming way. But it had 7 actors in it, and that's huge for a theater Luna's size. So we kind of put it aside. But in the time since, we've really come to feel that it's too important to not produce. So even though it's a big show for us, it's a financial risk, we decided we have to do it. So we have launched this campaign on Indiegogo. And we are trying to ask those in our community to contribute, to think about if Alzheimer's has touched their lives in some way, or even if they just feel really strongly about the idea that financial concerns should not be a barrier to bringing important stories to the stage.
Right. And it absolutely shouldn't. I'm so glad that you all are going ahead with it anyway, because so many people are dealing with this issue.
Yeah.
I mean, whether it's Alzheimer's or just taking care of an elderly sick parent, I mean, it's something that has really touched us in many ways. I mean, our community. So I'm really glad that Luna's taking that on.
Well, we think, too, that there's something about this play about honoring the people who love so fiercely, who choose to love their loved ones through these horrible things, you know, who choose to take that journey with them and support them as best they can, and that power of that love. So to be able to, in a sense, give back, give acknowledgement to the work that people are doing, to the love that people are contributing to it. It's an honor to be able to do. So we're hoping that the community can help support the production either by contributing to the campaign, coming to see the show, telling a friend or a loved one. You can contribute through our website. If you go to our website, lunastage.org, you can see the campaign on there, and you can click on it and
donate.
Support.
And when is the show going to be up?
Yes, great question. I believe it goes up in April.
Oh, okay.
I want to say.
So right after the Brothers' Size.
Yes, we go into rehearsals for this on March 15th. I believe we go up on April 6th, I want to say. It sounds about right to me. Look on our website, and we have all the dates.
yeah. But, I mean, just to get a sense, so it's coming up in April. And then what are the other shows for this season?
Well, that is the last show of the season on our main stage. We also have our jazz concert series, which you can also look up online. We have a couple more readings in our Monday night reading series for the year. And then soon, I'm not sure exactly when, but in the next few months, we'll be announcing our season for next year, and that will start in September, kind of September through May. But I think audiences can look forward to a couple world premieres in this next season. We're excited to bring some new works to the stage, so stay tuned.
That's fabulous. So in the few seconds we have left, I'd like to just highlight the letters in Luna so that we can kind of remember them. So for the L, what do you think of?
Yeah, we were talking about Luna as being light, the moon, right? Coming from the moon. This idea of illuminating is something that's big
illuminating. Yeah,
so
I love that word.
I don't know if you get to start before light. The L, but illuminating, light.
And for the U, I'm thinking unexpected theater.
Yeah, that's great.
And it's just uncompromising in its take on theater because it's not what you expect. It challenges audiences to begin to have dialogues. So for the N, what are you thinking?
The N. Neighbors. I think I'm getting at this idea of community, like who are the people in our lives that
that's great.
That we look to, that we collaborate with in this journey of life.
Great. And for the A?
I could be really corny and say awesome, but I bet you have a better one.
No, I was thinking always fresh. Just
Yes,
always
that's
fresh. Creating at the moment that you're seeing it practically, and just letting everybody in on that creative process. And I think that's what keeps Luna Stage always fresh.
Yes.
So thank you so much for being here today,
thank you,
Caitlin. I
Lauren.
really appreciate your time. And thank you for watching Arts Avenue, and we'll be back again soon.